Hi, and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Beej, Recreation Coordinator with Lewiston Parks and Recreation. And today, our guest is Angie Titus, Community Engagement Director with Community Action Partnership. Hello, Angie. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about you and how you got to Community Action?
Yeah. I'm the Community Engagement Director, and what my journey to come into Community Action really revolved around just partnering with Community Action quite a bit. I had worked with Northwest Children's Home in the Valley, and then had worked with Twin County United Way for several years, and started working on different issues and needs in our community, and really working on some of those needs that were taking place that were not being addressed. And so I had partnered with Community Action on one of the first things was on addressing kindergarten readiness for children, and really getting kids ready for school and ready to succeed once they get in kindergarten. So we had launched a project together with United Way and Community Action called the Kindergarten Boot Camp, which still takes place at McGee Elementary School. And then that was kind of the beginning of a beautiful thing. As I ended up moving to work with Community Action Partnership, we ended up launching a whole pipeline of projects that start with getting kids ready for kindergarten and then go throughout life.
The Kindergarten Boot Camp is near and dear to my heart because my kindergartner, Jackson, participated in it in this last summer. So it helped him tremendously because he didn't go to preschool at all. So the fact that he had 6 weeks before school started is huge. It's still huge. And a handful of kids, or a couple handfuls of kids that he was with, he's become very good friends with. And every Monday I volunteer in their class, and so I get to see their development. So it's really cool. So that program is awesome. And
we find so much that families just aren't aware of the needs and that importance of making sure that every child is ready for kindergarten. There's so much to be done, and their brains develop so much in those first couple years. And really in the first 3 years of life, our brains develop more in those 3 years than any other 3 years in our lives. And so that's exactly why it's so important for folks to be reading to those grandkids, to their own children, and doing as much as they can early on, because that's going to help them develop that brain development and those communication skills that they will use when they're 30 years old.
Absolutely. You mentioned the pipeline through Community Action Partnership. What is it? What is the pipeline?
The pipeline is what we call a project to really get people on track early on in life, and to help people stay connected to several areas throughout life. And so that begins with having services available, getting children ready for school, and that's a partnership that really Twin County United Way leads now, that they are working with McGee Elementary School to have that boot camp. The next piece is the after school program for grades K through 4, kindergarten through 4th grade, that also takes place at McGee Elementary School in the Lewiston Orchards. And that's one that we're also always looking for volunteers for. If anyone ever wants to read with kids, wants to do some of those activities, we have a background process that volunteers go through, and a training process where they can then help kids get ready for that program and ready to succeed in school. So the goal of that is getting kids reading at grade level at each grade, and really achieving at grade level. Moving on through the pipeline, we have projects then even for post-secondary education. We work with Lewis Clark State College, and we've worked with Walla Walla Community College as well in the past. And that focus is really on student retention. We find that a lot of students come to college, and in our community, we have a lot of first-generation college students. And a lot of those first-generation college students also have low incomes. And so we really work with those students to have all the resources they need to succeed in school, so they can have that diploma, they can have that degree, and get a good career, and really get started in school, so they don't fall behind and really end up dropping out, having that student loan debt, and not really having that higher wage job, so that they can really support their families and not fall into poverty. Other projects we have is our Bridges to Work project is one that really helps people in the workforce, and that's also based on retention, and that's on workplace retention, helping employees be successful at work. So we don't have folks that are quitting or walking off the job after 30, 60, or 90 days. So we are working hand in hand with employers so that those employers can also identify what obstacles they might have that are keeping their employees from being successful. So on with that, we also have financial stability projects that we work with. Our Circles initiative, which is an initiative that helps low-income individuals and really helps them reach their goals and move out of poverty and really become independent. And then one of our next projects is called Project Grace. That is a partnership with our area agency on aging at Community Action that really helps seniors once they're maybe moving from the hospital back to home or home to hospital. It really helps them have that continued care and kind of serves as family. It's volunteers that almost serve as family to help people as they're going through that transition and make sure that they're staying on the right medications and all those pieces.
So most of these, or almost all of them, you need volunteers for specific. How do people volunteer? How do they get involved?
The biggest way is just contact us, contact Community Action Partnership. We're in downtown Lewiston. They can get on our website. That's cap4action.org. They can send us an email at info@cap4action.org and just say they want to get involved, and we're happy to work with them.
And I know programs like this are going to take dollars to help fund them. How does Community Action fund these individual programs, or all of them as a whole?
We really have a wide range of funding. A lot of our funding is actually federal funding from the Community Services Block Grant. And that funding has been around really since the 60s and beginning the war on poverty. So we are a community action agency that is able to receive those community service block grant funds, and we work to really help people move out of poverty. And so that's one of the ways that we are funded. We do reporting and a lot of feedback back to the government on those things that we do. But some of our other funding is foundation funds for some of these projects. We work with the Paul Allen Foundation to fund the Bridges to Work project that really works on that workforce retention. We're working with Lewis Clark State College on college retention, and so they have a fund through the Albertsons Foundation that we have partnered with them on over the past year and a half. And then in the past, we've also worked with the Gates Foundation to do work with Walla Walla Community College. And we always appreciate any individual donations. We have the Community Action Food Bank that helps a lot of people that are trying to get by and need those food services. So we also, we're just talking at our office this morning about the Veterans Fund, that we have needs for veterans that people can support. Any really need to help those individuals move out of poverty, we have funds that can help those individuals, whether it's for gas assistance, any of those pieces. We would be happy to have that support.
Can you talk a little bit about how each of the programs, a little history, how did they come about? How did they get started? Because unfortunately things just don't happen. What's the background for those?
The big piece is partnerships. All of those projects along what we call our pipeline are really based from partnerships. We have people that come together and say, here's a need here. For example, some of the projects in the schools started when teachers from the schools were saying, if we could just have kids ready for school when they get here, if we could have kids fed, if we could have kids well rested, they could be more successful. And that is really how things come about. We do a lot of needs assessments that say what those biggest needs are in the community so that we can really start to tackle those needs. We have actually those individuals from poverty at the table helping make decisions and really saying, this is what I need, instead of all of us who are running these programs saying what we think works best. We really need to talk to the individuals who need that support and have them really share with us the needs they have, because they are really trying to juggle a lot. And for individuals that do have full-time jobs that pay well and have benefits, it's hard for us sometimes to understand all the other things that individuals have to juggle that are trying to do it on their own. So that's a big way that those projects come about, is by learning from those individuals that are going to be a part of those projects, by hearing them say what they need.
You talk about people in need. Let's say a viewer is in need. How do they become a part of one of these pipeline projects?
Well, one of the best things is to come into the Community Action Office and talk to us about what needs they have. We do a lot of direct services that are immediate needs for people at times, with utility assistance or food assistance, that for those that income qualify, that they need that support. But then for those that are really wanting that extra support to either find a job, or if they feel like they're struggling at work, struggling to communicate with the supervisor, come in and talk to us and ask about the Bridges to Work project, and we will fill them in on things they can do. We have courses available that really teaches them about being successful at work. And it's more than just understanding how to get through a job interview or how to fill out a resume. That's just the very beginning of it. Really, there's so much more about understanding expectations of an employer and how to communicate with an employer ongoing. So it's really a wide range of services, and we know that it's important to have all those available.
If we could take a broader step about community action, can you talk to listeners about how it got started here in Lewiston, and where is it based here in Lewiston, or is it based throughout the entire state of Idaho? Can you just talk about a little background about community action?
Community actions are all over the place. There are over 1,300 community actions in the U.S., and it started in the 1960s when Lyndon Johnson declared the war on poverty. And they were started to get communities together with low-income individuals, business and government leaders, and then just regular citizens working together in their own community to say, this is how we can fight poverty in our community. And so it's dollars that come locally, and we get to decide how they are spent and how we're going to spend them. And then we report back on being able to say how many people have increased their income, how many people have really stayed in their workplace over 90 days. We share how many people have received food boxes, how many people have received utility assistance. So community actions, really, as they started in the 60s, are still led that way with we call it a tripartite board. That's of low-income individuals, government, and community citizens, all representing and making those decisions overall for community action. And then each state is, the money goes to each state, and they hand it out through the state to the different community action agencies. So there are about 7 community action groups in the state of Idaho. The one based in Lewiston is the main office for North and North Central Idaho. So we have offices in each county in North Central Idaho and North Idaho. So there are 10 Idaho counties, and also it includes Asotin County in Washington that is the main office for all of that is out of Lewiston. So we have offices in each rural community for those individuals that are in each county, from Grangeville all the way up to the Idaho border, and then includes Asotin County.
Over the last few years, federally funded programs have taken a hit. How has community action dealt with that type of financial hit?
Mm-hmm. We've been thankful to have our community members who have received support, who have seen what community action has done, to have them speak for us and share what a difference community action has made, how community action has not only been able to give those direct services to help families get by, but they've also been able to share how community action has helped people get on their feet, so they're no longer needing some of those services, the welfare, the food stamps, and really moving people out of assistance. So it has been a great investment. And so because of that, we haven't been hit as hard. There have been, of course, right now with kind of the government in limbo a little bit. We're looking at potential 5% cuts with 2013 budgets, but we just keep moving forward as all nonprofits learn to do. You just are as conservative as you can on spending, and you just end up being creative on doing that work and really working with volunteers. We're so thankful for the volunteers we have and the community members that really jump in to help.
Fantastic. Before we go, is there anything else that you'd like to share with viewers about what you do as a director and or what Community Action does for the community?
Well, really, it's our mission to be a catalyst for inspiring and equipping people to end poverty in our community. And we know that's not just done through helping one individual. It's not just done through one organization. It really takes the entire community. So every nonprofit organization in our community and also every business in our community makes decisions on how they serve those that they employ. And so we just really encourage people to talk to us also about training their own supervisors and employers, being a part of some of those things, because it's important for people to tackle poverty and tackle those issues at all stages. So I would just encourage people to contact us if they have questions, if they'd like to get their supervisors involved in really doing something to improve their own workplace.
Can you remind viewers of your contact information, your website and phone number?
That's cap4action.org. That's CAP, the number 4, and the word action.org. The number is 746-3316.
Thank you, Angie. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out here on City Beat.
Thank you.
Absolutely. On behalf of everyone here, we will see you next time on City Beat.